Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Azure training program. And today we are in 16th session of Azure training program, and still we are in ADF discussing about a couple of ways of extracting the data. Now we have covered a couple of case scenarios, and I know we have uh, given those scenarios some. We have made some intelligent pipelines as well in our deployments. But every time we are working in any real-time projects or in uh, any kind of uh, use case scenarios, the extraction of the data is also that not that simple. So there are two types of extracting or loading the data. So um, the two types is, first one is a full load and second one is an incremental load. So let us try to understand what is full load and what is an incremental load of data first. And we will try to do a lab on today's session. Like we will try to copy multiple new tables from a SQL Server database into our ADLS Gen2 location, but we will do it incrementally. Uh, let's understand the difference between a full load and an incremental load first of all. So whenever you are working in a real-time projects, what happens is, first thing, when the new project is getting deployed, so the client will tell us, I will give you one-time data, and every day there will be some data coming. So the two different types of loading of data is, one is full load, that is we will load all the data into our into our sync. Okay, this is the first case scenario. There is no conditions here. You will simply bring the data and you will simply load the data and you have nothing to do. I mean, there is no condition. There is some data, pick it up and put it at some place which we have designed for. So this is first case scenario. And this is one time scenario in most of the projects. Now, coming to the incremental data load, this is very important. And a data engineer should be capable and should be able to understand how an incremental pipeline should be designed. So the full load pipelines are not that intelligent. Like they are, you are just simply configuring two data sets or three data sets that will bring the data and it will put it in the place. But now, what is incremental load? So incremental load is nothing but, so let us say in an example way, uh, I am I am working on a project. So I am having 100 records that are coming every day. Not every day. I am bringing data from my source, which has 100 records. Okay. Now, but the first time I have loaded all these 100 records, the first time when the company told me, go and load everything into the table, I have loaded all these records in my table. Okay, good. But tomorrow, now I want to bring and load the data from my source. So let me give you a picture representation. It will be more easier to understand. So this is my source. Okay. Now this is my sink. Okay. Now, first day, what happened is the client gave me 100 records. Okay. I loaded all 100, this 100 records into my sink. Now my sink location has 100 records. On the next day or maybe a next day, when I say next day, it's not on next day, maybe it can be a week or day or month or whatever it is. So the next time, what my client is telling is, I have I please go and load the latest data into my into your sink. So this time it is not 100 records. There are only 10 new records here. So for the last time to the new time, latest time, in this time gap, there are only 10 new records coming in. So I don't have more than 10 new records. So is it feasible or is it optimistic way of loading all? Now my total count, how much is it after the new records? It is 110. Should I be loading all these 110 records into my sink? It will be a not an appropriate way of loading the data, right? It's like a whatever it is coming, you have pull it and put it. So it's not the way. So I want to load only this 10 new records into this table and making this count to 110 rather than pulling 110 to one time. I already have 100 records, so I just want to pull this new records only. So to do that, such kind of load is nothing but it's called an incremental, bringing only the latest data rather than pulling everything from your source. You will only bring the latest data from your source and you will put it into your target location. So to do that, you need to understand a couple of things. So how can we, how will we know this is the latest data? Uh, how we can build the pipeline, and your pipeline every day it has to run, so you no manual intervention should be available. So how can we build the process? In these types of things we will be trying to looking in our today's lab. So what we will try to do today is we will create one SQL database, and we will create a couple of tables, maybe two or three tables we will see, and we will build one pipeline where it will take the data one time into our into our sync location, but we will make that pipeline intelligent in a way that any time of point, if someone reruns the pipeline or if this pipeline gets ran a second time, it should only bring the latest records rather than bringing everything. Okay, so this is our target today in our lab. So we will try to understand how incremental data loading can be done for SQL tables using Azure Data Factory. Okay, so for this lab, what resources we will be deploying is we will create one SQL database. We will create one SQL database on SQL DB, and I will create one. Let us load this data into Gen2 location. Okay, one Gen2 or our storage account, and one ADF. Now, you people are already familiar with the creating a storage account, SQL DB, and ADF as well. So, how many linked services I need today to achieve my lab? How many linked services today I need to create in the ADF to achieve to complete my lab? How many linked services?
Two.
Yes, two linked services, one for your SQL database and one for your storage. So let me deploy those resources. Then we will try to look into how we are going to what our tables will consist of, and what our data should look like, and how our pipeline should be. We can build it. So let's do one thing. Let's deploy a database first. Let me create one database. Give me 1 second. Let me open this other data studio. It will take time. Ah, no, now let me create it. Now let me create a database here. Okay. So I don't want to use an old resource group. Let me go with the new one, RISE 0800708. Okay, let me click on OK. In database name, I want to save the credentials. If you remember, if we don't have the credentials saved, we will not be able to retrieve the database. So just give me 1 second. Let me open a notepad to do that. Okay, the database name. So let us give it as RISE DB 0807. We don't have a server. Let us create a server. RISE DB 0807. Yeah, location East US, and I want to use a SQL authentication. This thing you can be able to get it, but just let us save the credentials of the admin name. Rise 0807. This is my username. Let me just make a copy of this. And what's the password we are using? Mm, Password is that is not okay. Let me copy this and let us see if the password matches. Yeah. So now we have created a server and its location is the East US and we are using a SQL authentication. Let us create the server first and let us deploy with the debating. We don't want any elastic pool. It's for development and everything. You know all of this local redundant backup. We don't need any backup. Networking. Let's go with the public endpoint because I don't want to go and firewall rules and everything. And I want to allow the Azure services to access this. Add current IP address also. Nothing else is required. Let us get and review plus create. Let's not focus on these things. Our lab mainly today is to create a incremental load pipeline rather than all this. These things are already discussed. Validation is passed. Let me create. Okay. Deployment is getting started. Okay. In the meantime, let me create a storage account and a Azure Data Factory as well. The SQL database will take time. In the meantime, let me create those two as well. So we can get started with our lab. Let me use the subscription which we created. Okay, James subscription. Are they creating a database again? Okay, sorry. No, we need a storage account. We don't need a database. We already have created one by. We need a storage account. Click on storage accounts. Let's use the current resource group. Storage account name is Rise Gen 2 0807 and let's go with standard East US redundancy local advanced. In advanced options, you can just click on enable hierarchical namespace. The only way to get your blob storage as your Gen 2, correct? Click on create validation. Is running its validations. Just give it 1 second and let's click on create. Okay, we have a storage account as well getting deployed. What about our database? It's still getting deployed. Let it get. No. Okay. Now let me create a ADF as well. Let me use ADF. ADF 007. Okay. There is nothing else. Click on just review plus create. Click on create. Okay. All our resources are hopefully created. Yeah. Firstly, first thing we need is, let's go into our SQL database. Let's log in into our data studio. Then we will start doing all of this. Let me copy the database name, sorry, server name. Come to your data studio. Yeah. Let me click on new connection. Okay, the server name is this. And what type of authentication we use? SQL login, right? And we have the username and password saved here. These values will never be hard coded, guys. So in future, what happens is, after some lectures, I will introduce you to a service called Azure Key Vault, where where the organizations will typically store all of this information in the Azure Key Vault. So you will be able to retrieve it from there only. In your real time, you don't have this. You will have a active directory where everything is given to that active directory, and that active directory will give you the options and accesses based upon that. Okay, it is only for just for practice purposes, how you are getting connected and how you are uh, able to check the details and everything. Okay, now our database is created, and we have, if I'm not wrong, we will not have any tables there because we did not take the sample data today from the Microsoft Azure that which was providing. Yeah, we don't have any tables. So let's go and create some tables now. And we will try to understand what and how the incremental load works. So let us do one thing. Let me create a table first, and let me try to let me make you understand how and how the data comes and how we can use it. So to do that, let me create a table first. Let me create table. What shall I give the table name? Let us say we are all customers. So customers, and dbo.customers, dbo.customers. Okay. And the table consists of, let us say, ID, which is a customer ID, which is an integer data type of int, and name, which is a varchar, okay, of 50, and location, which is a varchar of also 50. Okay. Anything else you want me to add? Location, name, ID. It's more than enough, right? You don't need too much fancy things to understand. So let me create this table first. Okay, now I have the table. If I query this table, will I have any data? Select star from dbo dot test. We will have nothing, but just to show you that we don't have any data right now. Right now, let's insert some values. So let's go on with inserting. Insert into dbo dot cust values, and let's go with one after another. One, and my name, let me put my name first. The customer name is Jamal, and his location is Bangalore. Okay, now apart from this, I want to also add a values, two more values. Let's say one, two. So the second ID name is 2, and name is Amin. Amin is also there, Amin, and the third name is Venkat. Okay. Now, main location is Hyderabad, and let us say Venkat's location is Mumbai, and Venkat's ID will be 3. Okay. If I insert all of this, and if I do a select star, I have 3 values. Okay. Now, now So the full load, when you do a full load, let us understand in this way, when you do a one-time load or an initial load, this data will get loaded, okay? But tomorrow there is some new entries called something like this. You have some two values. Next day there is a two values coming in, and after that day I have one new value coming in. So I'm not sure how many new values will come on daily basis or whatever it is. So I have 4 and I have id 5. These are new entries on the next day, okay? These are new values on the next day. And that another day also there is some new values coming. So we don't know how many values are going to come and what values are going to come. So we need to build a process where the pipeline should able to understand these are the values that have came and these are the new values. So we need to make sure that only these values, the new values that are coming, get loaded into the pipeline, into our location. So to do that, if you observe one thing, we need to have one column that is auto incrementing or changing, not changing, changing in the sense it can go back as well. Let's say it has auto incrementing with the proper name. What auto incrementing is, it is called a delta column. In this table, id is the delta column. id is a delta column. So once every new entry comes, so this id column gets auto incremented. That simply means if you have three people, three IDs, next day some two people came, two new IDs will be generated in a uh, in a proper way. Okay, it's not like I will create ID number 1 today and tomorrow I will create ID number 1 lakh 1. So it's not like that. So it will be an hierarchical level like 1, 2, 3, 4. It will be in auto incrementing columns. So that's nothing but we need to have a delta column in our source table. We need to identify that column. Okay, this column is our delta column in this table. So using this delta column, we can implement a incremental pipeline. Before that, let me create one more sample table. So you will understand in all the cases, it will not be ID only. It will be something different also. Let me create a sales table, and let us say the same customer is using the is doing the sales now. So I will in this way you will understand even better. I don't have the name of the customer here, but I have the product, and that is a, we will understand these things when we are going for the transformations. But to explain to you the incremental load in a better way, I am using this example. But just try to imagine like these two tables are coming from only one organization or one, or you can say one supermarket. Like we take an example of supermarket in our previous example, right? You go to a mall and these are the details of the customers which they have already saved, and these are the sales they have done. So that consists of id, product, and date, sale date, okay? It is a date time. Okay, now let me create this. Okay. Now in this sales column, insert into, let us insert some values, then I will show you. Insert into dbo.sales, dbo.sales. id is, let me take an example of me going to the supermarket and I have bought a product called mobile. I have bought my product called, yeah, I bought a mobile. Okay, and when did I bring it? I bought it on 0 by MMDD, right? 2023 0707, and at 10 in the morning I went shopping and I bought this mobile. Let us say it in that way. Okay, now video dot values. Now, on the same day, what I did, I went to the supermarket again and I bought, this time I bought a laptop. Okay. Now, this time my time is changing because I went this time in the evening. Okay. I went this time in the evening. So I will put this time as 5. Let's not put it 5. Let's keep it 15 at 3 p.m. Okay. Now, in the same way, Amin has also went to the supermarket. Amin also has went to the supermarket. His customer ID is what? 2. And he has bought a charger. Now, he has bought this charger at what time? Let us say it as at 13. Okay. Now, if I insert all these values and if I query the data, let me show you how it will look like. Select a star from dbo.6. Okay. You see, these values are coming, but this time your delta column is what here? You can guess, because there are duplicates in my ID, right? I have two entries for ID. So this can this be my delta column now? I mean, is this column getting automatically incremented?
No.
So what should I consider as a delta column in this case?
Sale date.
Yes, because this is changing, right? And time is only moving forward in the sales table. As it is a fact table, we will discuss facts and dimensions, but this table will every time there is a new entry at this time. Let's say it's 7:28 and there is an entry, and at 7:29 there is an entry, and 7:30 also there is an entry. So every time the date is changing, but it is getting increased. So that can be my delta column, right? But ID, the same customer can go 100 times and bring 100 different products at 100 different times. You cannot control that. But what you can use as a delta column is, this is your sale rate. This can be your delta column, correct? Now we want to copy these two tables into our sync location. So I want to have a metadata table. Let me do one thing. Amin, can you help me create the metadata table?
Yeah, create
Okay.
table
Okay.
metadata.
Okay. And what values should you consider? I will give you, because this is your first time. Source schema is 1. What will be its data type?
Varchar.
Good. Varchar. And let's say it's as a 20. Next, I want the source table name as well. What will be its data type?
Also Varchar.
Yes, it's also a string, so it will also have a varchar. Now, sync, we discussed it will be gen2, right? So it will be only sync folder. So in sync folder, what will be this data type? Definitely sync folder. What will be its data type? Also a varchar. It is also a string, correct? Now, the two new things which we will add today is, one, we will add the name of the delta column. So it will be delta underscore column. That is our delta column. Okay. It will be a varchar. Okay. And let's give it also a 20. Now, one last thing I need, because if you remember, I want to have a value called LPV. LPV, and it will be a varchar. I will tell you why in a bit. So the LPV is nothing but last processed value. I want to have the last processed value in my metadata table today, because basing on that last processed value and this delta column only, we are going to create an incremental load pipeline. So let us insert some values first. Insert into dbo dot metadata values and schema. What is my source schema? DBO, correct? I'm inserting the DBO cust table details. Okay. What is my source table name? Cust. Now, what is now what is my sync folder name? Let us give a cust out. We don't have any folders. Let us give a cust out. Cust out. Now, what is the delta column in our customer table, DBO cust table?
ID.
Yes, ID is our delta column. Now, what is our last processed value? See, last processed value, we can give anything because is it initial stage. So I am giving it 0 because I don't have any details in my, I don't have any data in my data in my table in my source sync location, right? So I have to load everything. That is the reason I'm giving it as 0. Okay. Now let me insert one more value. Yeah, let me insert one more value. This time the source schema is same. The source table name is sales for the sales table, and I will give it as sales out. Okay. What is my delta column in this sales table?
Date and time.
Column name. Date and time, you are correct, but it is the column name is sale date, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sale date is my delta column. So I want to give some value. So what I will do is I will give this value. But I will put year as 2000 because that is the initial date. So in real times also you will have some time they will give you no records will come after this date. So this can be considered as your initial date. You can use this value for your you can use this value for your delta loads, something they will mention it when you are designing the pipeline architecture. When you are in the client meeting, they will discuss all those things. So let's start from dbo dot metadata. Let us see if you have any data first. I don't want to insert multiple duplicate records. Yeah, we don't have any data. So let me run these two queries and insert this. Now, if I check see, now we have three tables. One is a metadata table that is consisting of the information about the tables that we are going to copy. And we have two tables that have to be copied from our source location into our target location, correct? Until here, any questions? If you have any questions, go on. Then what we will do, we will go and start building the pipeline, and I will show you how we can make this process rerunnable every time we run this pipeline. Until here, any questions? Rajesh, Venkat, Param. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So until here, everyone is clear. So now let us do one thing. Let us go and open our data factory first. And let us quickly create linked services. And one last thing I need to do is in the storage account which we created today, I want to create one container, output container. Okay. I don't have any container, so let's just let me create one. Oh, this is also one of the asked important questions is how you will handle incremental load when your source is your SQL server. Sometimes people ask in the interviews this question. So based on that answer only, they will understand, yeah, he has some knowledge or not. Okay. So let's create the linked service first for once for SQL database and one for your Gen2 location, LS, SQL, and SRC. Okay, this is my linked service and subscription free trial and auto dissolve only. We have any server names? We have many server names. What is our server name? Price 0807, correct? Yeah, we have only one database. We are going with the SQL authentication. Name and the password will come from here. Let me copy the password first. Test connection. Let's create. Now let me create one more linked service that is for our Gen2. That is our target location. Okay. Continue. ls Gen2. Account key, subscription, free trial. Let's go with the storage account name. The storage account name is 20807. Yeah, this one. Click on test connection. Click on create. Yeah, now we have two linked services and two and a data factory. Now, first activity, I am creating the pipeline. I want to read my metadata. What is my first activity? I want to copy multiple tables. Forget incremental load. I want to copy multiple tables from a SQL server to my source sync location. I want to read this metadata. So which activity should I use? Param, which activity should I use to read the metadata table? I mean,
Get metadata.
this is the biggest,
Yeah.
like blunder many people do. Let me show you the difference. What happens is, if you go and get metadata, you will not be able to read the metadata information. You will be able to get the child items. If you remember yesterday, we in the get metadata, we are only getting table structure. We are getting types of columns, and we are seeing the table is existing or not. But to read that, we have a lookup activity, right? In the lookup activity, we have three types of options. One, you can go with a query, or two, you can go with a store procedure, and three, you can go with a table name directly, correct? This is one of the, this is kind of a confusing thing for many people, but get metadata will get you, most times we will use it for child items only, but you can use it to get the table structure, which will be a complicated one to use, okay? So DS lookup to get the table names, okay? Table names. Okay, linked service, only one linked service. What is the table name? We are trying to read metadata, right? dbo.metadata, okay? Click on OK. And let me edit this lookup name because I have the lookup, lookup for what table names. Table names, okay? So if I debug this, do I need to change anything? Can I debug this?
You need to select that one.
What one?
There is thread mark.
Red mark? Why? I don't have any other activities, right? I only have one activity. If I have another activities, I only want to debug until here, then I can use this red mark. There is no. Can I debug? Do you
Yes.
see any? Yeah. I need to remove first row. I need to remove first row, or what it will do? It will bring only the first row, correct? Why you people are forgetting everything? Okay, now I have the metadata information. So let me do one thing. Let me not put it here. I have to use it multiple times today. So let me copy it into a notepad. Okay. Okay. Now, how many tables I have? Two, correct? What is it? DBO dot customer. And what is the delta column in that table? ID. And what is the last processed value? 0. And the second table DBO sales. And sale date is my delta column name. And this is the last processed value. Until here, you are clear. Now I want to copy these details one after another. So I will go and use a for each activity. Okay, I want to pass this information to for each. So what for each will do is it will go and give these items one after another to the copy activity. In that case, I need to deploy some changes. So in settings, sequential, in the items, what dynamic content should I give here?
Look up output value.
Yes, output value should be available here, right? Yeah, this one. Okay, now next. Inside the for each, I will use a copy data. Okay, inside the for each, I will use a copy data. What is my source now? Source is SQL, so I don't have a data set. Let me create one. SRC, linked service, SQL. I don't want to use the table name, but I want to create the dynamic pipeline. So we have multiple tables, so I need to parameterize it. So let me create a Gen2 also, then we will parameterize both. Let us copy it as CSV files only, okay? DS underscore sync. Okay. Now, what is the linked service? When we have one less than two. First row as header. Let me give only output as a container and let me click on OK and we will parameterize the remaining things. Okay. Now coming to the source data set, how many parameters I need?
2.
Yes. What are those?
One for schema and one for table name.
Perfect. DS param for source, for schema, and DS param for table. Now I need to add it. Click on edit, come to schema, add dynamic content, schema, click on OK, table. Now come to your pipeline. What should I pass here? Param? What?
At the rate schema.
At the rate what?
At the rate item dot schema.
Your schema should come from the lookup output. Okay. So don't write only schema. The
Source.
values inside the lookup output should be used here. At the rate item dot source schema will be our. See, I am giving source schema, but in your real-time project, maybe something different. So don't just write schema because these values which I am using are coming from the lookup output only. Okay. Now, for the table, I need to use at the rate item dot source table name, correct? From here, at the rate item dot source table. Now, my source data set is configured and it looks fine. So now what is my next step is I want to dynamically pass the folder names also because I have a sync folder, right? So I want that also to come dynamically. So I will create one parameter for the sync ds prm param for sync. Okay. Come to connections, directory, add dynamic content, ds param sync. Okay. Click on OK. Now come to your pipeline. Add dynamic content. Param, one last time. What is the sync name now I should give? Whatever screen you want me to open, I will open. Just tell me what should I give here.
Can you open the notepad screen?
Sorry?
Notepad screen?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, sync folder. Underwrite item dot sync folder.
Yes. Yes. Correct. At the rate item dot sync folder. So don't hardcore or remember the values. The reason is your for each is getting the information from lookup. So whatever for each will tell whatever lookup will tell for each, only that language for each will understand. So the for each, if you tell why I will use sync folder name for each, you use only sync like this, it will not understand. The reason is you only have the values, it only understands the values that are passed from the lookup to the for each. So whenever you are passing those dynamic values, you need to check what is my lookup output, then you can pass those values. Understood? Okay. Now click on OK. If I run this pipeline, there will be any errors? It is good enough, right? If I debug this, there should not be anything. Lookup will get the table names, for each will take those table names and it will pass to the copy activity one after another, and the copy activity will go and fetch the data into the Gen2 for 2 folder names. Okay, so just let us refresh.
Yes, but you didn't change the file extension to CSV.
Oh, we gave it txt, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a good catch. Yeah, you can go into source, in the pipeline, the copy activity, in the sync at the bottom, we can keep out the CSV. Okay. Now, just to show you, inside the output, I should have 2 folders, cast out and sales out. Sales out. In the cast out, how many values I am getting? 1, 2, 3. Correct? But if I run this pipeline again, will it change or will it bring the same values? It will bring the same values because it is not we are not giving anything dynamically. We are just telling, hey, copy activity, just bring everything. But we need this pipeline to be intelligent to handle the incremental load. So to do that, first thing what we need to identify is we need to have something called max value. What is the maximum value of the delta column in this table? So let me do in this way. I am selecting star from customers. Okay. What is the maximum ID here?
3.
Right. But in the SQL query language, how should I ask SQL to give me the maximum ID? Is select max of what column is my delta column? ID, right? ID is my delta column. Max of ID as maximum value. Say max value. Okay. Max value from which table I am trying to get the maximum of the ID? dbo.customer, correct? So if I do this, what will it bring now? No, it will take me so much time. It will bring the maximum value from this table. See, you guys able to understand the query? What I am trying to get is I have 2 things. Let me give these 2 directly. So if I do this, I have I have the table information, and I want to get. We know the ID is the delta column, but I want to know what is the maximum value. So how I am able to do that? By writing a SQL query, correct? So if I do the same thing, see, let me do it this way. It will be more easier for you to understand. Let me come down. This is the metadata information. So now I don't want the maximum of ID, but I want to get the delta maximum of the delta column in sales table. So what is my delta column in sales table? This will be sales table. Okay, this will be sales table. What is my delta column for the sales table?
Sales state.
Yeah. So I will get the maximum date of max of sale date as max value from dbo.sales. If I run this, let us see. You see 10, 3, and 1. This is the timings. The maximum time is at what? This is the maximum time, right? This is the last one, correct? It is getting me the max value, correct? Just understand this query. If you don't understand this query, I cannot go to next step. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. What I am trying to get is, I am trying to get the maximum of the delta column, and I want to use this value in the pipeline. So my pipeline will understand this is the maximum value in the delta column. Any questions, like why I know at this point you will don't understand why, but any questions how I am taking this? If no, I can move forward, right? Okay. I will go into my for each activity. So my for each is running for 2 times, one time for DBO customer and one time for DBO sales. I want to get the maximum value of each table when the for each is running. So I will add a lookup activity, and I will try to get the maximum value of customer table when it runs for first time, and I will get the max value of sales table when it run for the sales second time. So I need a data set. Let me create one data set. The data set for SQL, right? I want to execute a query here. This is first time maybe you are seeing how to execute a query. Okay, the linked service is only one, so don't worry about it. I don't want any table name now. I want to go with a query. Okay, what should I write here? The same thing, correct? The same thing, I want to use it there, correct? If you are getting confused, I can pause and explain. Okay, don't just try to hard code and make yourself uncomfortable. Okay, now my second question is, I am inside the for each loop. This ID column is coming from the lookup. So I want to hard code this value. I don't want to hard code this value because this statement should be dynamic. So it should run for every table it is coming. In future, maybe 10 more tables will come. So there will be different column names. So this column name is ID is not fixed, right? If you go and see here also, what is the delta column for customer table? It is ID. What is the delta column for the sales table? It is sales table. So I cannot have this expression like this. I need to parameterize it. So I am inside for each and I want to get the ID. So what should I pass here? I will give you first table. If anyone wants to try, they can try. But let me give you the ID. How you will get the ID? ID you will get in this way. At the rate. Sorry. Let me edit this expression one more time. This is the query I want to execute. So let me come here into the pipeline. Okay. Now this is ID. This ID should come as at the rate item dot come to your lookup. I told you just before, lookup is telling this information to for each. So in that language, what is lookup? What for each will understand if I say ID at the rate item dot?
Delta column.
Yes. At the rate item dot delta column, if I say like this, for each will understand, yeah, already for lookup has given me this information. If delta column for will come like this, so I can give it something like this. Okay. Now, what is my DBO? At the rate
Item dot source SKU.
Yes. Item dot search. Let's not do the mistake. Source schema. Source schema. Now, what is my table name? What is my table name?
@item dot source table.
Yes. Item dot come to the lookup SRC table. Now, let me copy this statement. Let me paste it just below this statement, just above this statement. See, we are doing nothing different. If you see here, just because we are inside the for each loop, we are just giving these values ID, source table, and the customer values are the dynamic values that will change every time we are running the pipeline. So we have two tables. So every time it will loop from the for inside the for each, it will take these values dynamically rather than one after another, rather than a fixed value. That's the reason we edited this query for the same kind of way. So for the first time, when the iteration is happening for DBO customer, it will get the max value of 3 for the DBO cust. Okay, it will get the max value of sale date for the DBO sales table. So let me debug this pipeline and I will show you how the queries are forming in the backend. I cannot debug until here. So let me rerun the, okay, let the data get pasted, not an issue. I'm rerunning this pipeline, okay? Let us try to understand how the iteration is happening and how the queries are getting formed in the backend. Yeah, see the first lookup inside the for each has passed. It is getting, see, select, I am not writing this query right this time. This query is coming from the lookup activity itself. See, select max of ID as max value from dbo.customer. It is only giving me. I am not writing this. And second time, what it is giving, when the second time the pipeline is running, for each is running, select max of sale date as maximum value from DBO sales. So if you see what is the max value in the customer table? See, 3. We are getting that values right now. Understood how we are getting the maximum value and how we have edited the pipeline to get the maximum value for every table in the delta column. Understood? I will tell you why. Yeah, someone was saying something. Any doubts? You need to understand this step before we go for the next step. Okay, I hope no doubts. I am getting the max value, okay? But if you go and check the lookup value, there is no max value. It only understands last processed value, correct? Last processed value only it will understand. So come to your SQL database again. Now, I want to select star from DBO metadata. What it is, sorry, DBO customer table. How many records I will get? 3, right? You people just stay with me for 10 minutes. It is very important. This is the heart of today's class, okay? Select the star from DBO customer is giving me 3 values, but I want to get where ID is greater than, sorry, ID is greater than 2. I want to get only those values. How many values I am getting now?
1.
Right. So I want to use this expression in my select statement in the copy activity. How I can do that? Just come here, go to copy activity. Inside the source, I don't want to hard code the values. I don't want to take the tables now. I don't want to take any tables now. I want to take query. I want to take query. So I want to edit this. Come here. keep it here. So what is my DBO here now? What is my DBO here? Inside the for each, you will always have the values of the output of the lookup which you are taking, or the consecutive activity which you are taking. In our case, it is lookup. It is source schema. If I give like this, it will get the name correctly. We did it for the lookup also. If you remember, we did the same thing for the lookup as well. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Now I want the table name also coming dynamically. So I will write @item dot. Let me come back to the lookup, pick up the table name, and let me go back to here. And the table name is, yeah. If you see now, select star from @item dot source schema. Every time it iterates, it will bring the source schema and source table name dynamically. Now ID is the delta column, and which is also changing for every table. So what should I write here again? It will be something like @item dot, come to lookup, output, delta column. Okay. Now come here and give it here. Now this two is nothing but, I am hard coding this value, but the expression should be here in the metadata. What is the last processed value? 0. So if I tell here 0, it will bring everything. But for the uh, sales table, it is not 0. It is something different. So it also needs to come dynamically, which is saved in the last processed value column. So I will also pass that value dynamically now. So it will be something like this. Something like this, @item dot item dot item dot item dot LP. Okay. Until here, everyone is clear. Until here, is everyone clear?
Yes.
Okay. So if I run this pipeline now, let us see, it will bring how many records. So this is the same statement, and let me put this statement also here just to explain to you one more time. If you come to your SQL database, if you see here, I am writing, if I am doing like this, let me copy it. See, select the star from DBO dot customer @item schema and @table name will come. Source schema and table name will come dynamically. Where is a keyword, and ID is the delta column. I am also bringing it dynamically, and LPV is also a delta. LPV is also a column which is coming from the lookup. So I am also bringing that dynamically. Now, if I run this pipeline, let us see how many records it will get copied. Let me clear this output here. Let me delete these tables here. We know 3 records should come and 2 records should come from that. 3 records and 3 records should come from the each table. But just to make sure and make you understand how the process is working, that nothing has changed, everything is still coming dynamically. That's what I want to prove to you. So let me debug this. So now lookup to get the table names is getting all the table names. How many tables we have? 2 tables. So you have 2 tables. Now it will go and run the pipeline for each, and it will tell for each, these are 2 tables, go and execute whatever the process you have inside you. So now for each will go and call the lookup. The first, another lookup value will get the max value of the first table. That is customer table, that is 3. Correct? Now in the source copy data activity, you see here how the query came. We are not passing anything this time. If I execute the same query, here in the SQL database, let us see what is the output I am getting. I am getting 3 values, correct? Now, if I go and bring the second time iteration for the sales table, sorry, second time iteration for the sales table, if I bring the query, see, these are all values, I am not hard coding this, right? These are all coming dynamically. See, this is how real-time pipelines also look like. So it's not not just like we will do hard code and it will run. Everything should be parameterized. See, it is bringing three values. Correct? Now, if I rerun this pipeline, what will happen? If I rerun this pipeline, what will happen? Will it bring the latest data or will it bring the same data? If
The
I
same,
rerun,
same data.
okay, so what I need to do is in the metadata table, if you see here, there is a last processed value column, correct? Which is 0. But I want to, I have how many records I have already copied into my target table?
3.
3. How I am getting that 3? From where in this pipeline, if you look, from which activity output I am getting that 3? Sorry.
From the lookup.
Yes. Correct. If I can, I need to take this lookup. This lookup is getting me the maximum value, correct? As 3. And how many records we are copying? Also 3. But next time, I want to run the pipeline. I want this last processed value to be updated, because every time if I run this, every time it will be 0. What is the use? What is the use and what is the real-time scenario here? Every time it will bring all the data. Every time it will bring all the data. So to do that, what I can do, an update statement will do that. Sorry, an update statement can do that, right? Update, what table I want to update? DBO dot.
Metadata.
You Param and I mean you people are old guys, so Venkat is still in the initial stages. You need to help me edit this query now. Update table set. What I wanted to update?
LBV.
Yes,
Last process
LPV.
value.
With what value? At the rate LPV only. I will tell I want to update it, but for which condition? Where I want to use a where. If not, what will happen? It will update everything, correct? Let's go with source table, because source table is changing, but schema is not changing, correct? This will be a little bit confusing. So okay, let me finish this. Then my question will come to you is, now I don't want to do it like this. This is a statement, okay? This is a statement, but I want to also, you can do that, but I can update. Yeah, I can do this also. If I can directly pass it, you don't need a store procedure. You can write a statement and no, we will go with the store procedure only. So to create the store procedure, what is my initial step?
Create. Proc.
Okay, create proc. I will give the USP underscore the proc name as USP underscore
At,
anything like forget it. Okay, now what is the next step?
at LBV.
At LPV, what is at the LPV?
Barker.
Yes, because we are already using varchar here in the top. Good. Varchar of 20. Okay. Now, what is the next one?
At source table.
Yes, at the rate source table also we need to use, because we are passing that values also parameterized. Correct. Now, at the rate source table will also be a varchar of, let us say, varchar of 20. Okay. Now, next.
As
Yes, as,
begin,
just give me 1 second. As, next,
begin,
begin. Yes, and
this statement, and after it end.
yes. Now our store procedure will be ready. Correct. Just let me execute it, and we will be able to use our store procedure here. Now, come to our pipeline. Now we know our last processed value. We know our pipeline is bringing data dynamically. The only thing that is pending in today's lab is we need to update that value. So we have created a store procedure. We need to update the table. So we have created a store procedure on success of copy activity. On success of copy activity, I want to run this store procedure. This store procedure, let's click on it, come to settings. First, let me edit this as a lookup max value, because it will be easier for you to understand. I'll copy. Here's my max value. This lookup is getting as the max value. That's how you will be able to understand. Just for your reference, you can give any name, doesn't matter. Now, we need to give two things. One is the linked service, and second one is the store procedure name. Okay. Now, I have these two. We have any parameters we need to import. So I'm importing those parameters. Okay. What is my source table name? First thing. I am inside for each. What is my source table name? The source table name should come dynamically. So what is the source table name?
At the rate item dot source table.
Yes. Item dot source table. I will bring it from the lookup output only, because if I write anything wrong, what will happen? It will update everything, or the query will get failed. Okay. Now, the second question is, I want to get this LPV.
Yes.
The LPV, I mean,
From
go on.
lookup. It will come from lookup.
Yes,
I
which
don't know
lookup?
how. Yeah, this one, lookup max value.
Okay, but I want to do one thing. I want to copy that output. I did not do that. That's my mistake. So this is the max value lookup, right? So if I get this lookup output, let me copy this. You people are watching, but you people never got the doubt why I am using the first row in the lookup. You see, if I use everything, if I did not select first row, it will bring everything from the table again. So I have used first row option in the max value lookup. Now, the main part is to update this. Now, another main part is, now I want to check what should I write here in the LPV value. What should I write here? Lookup output, you are right, Amin. So I will give you one more hint. So here, what should I select? Just try, because if you
Not
understand
this
it,
one.
please
Can
go
you
on.
scroll down?
Yeah.
Lookup max value output.
Yes, but it will give only output, but I want the max value, right?
Yeah.
So on top of this output, what should I write? Which screen you want me to open?
Not bad.
Yeah, okay. I'm opening the notepad.
First row dot max value.
Perfect. That's how the expression forms. You should write activity dot output dot first row dot, because your max value is coming, your maximum value is coming on first row dot max value. That's why I tell you people many times, don't hard code. try to understand how the queries are forming. So this is how your output lookup. On top of the lookup output, you have first row. On top of the first row, you have max value. How we are able to understand that? We are checking it from the output of the lookup. See, this is the output of the lookup. On top of the output, we have first row. On top of the first row, we have max value. That is how we will be able to give that expression, this value. Now, before we debug this pipeline, just one last time, check this data in the last metadata value. How many values, what is the values we have? 0 and 2000 is the year. Now I will run this pipeline. Okay. Let me debug this pipeline and let us wait until this pipeline gets successfully executed and copies the data. Just to give you brief one last time, what our pipeline is doing is, our first lookup activity will get the table names, and the second lookup activity, second is a for each. The for each will go and get the maximum value. Now the maximum value is, after getting the maximum value, the copy activity will use that maximum value and the last processed value in its query, like this. It will say select a star from DBA customer where ID is greater than so and so, because this is the first time. If you see here, our table has the maximum value of 0. It is taking as 0. So now the second, the copy activity gets successfully executed. On success of copy activity, we are updating the table by executing a store procedure. Now, if I refresh this table, let us see what are the values we are getting. See, our values got updated, right? Correct. Now my second question, if I rerun this pipeline, how many records will it copy from customer table?
0.
Why?
Yeah, because the max value is 3, so we don't have greater.
Yes, exactly. If I run this pipeline now, it will copy 0 records for customer table and 0 records for our sales table. So let us do one thing. Let us try to let us complete this iteration. Then I will show you by how the table will be picking up only those values that are automatically incrementing. Okay, that are only it will become new values. How it will become new values. Okay, last time. Okay, now lookup of max value. How much is the max value? The lookup, the max value should be same because there is no max, there is no new records now. So it is telling the copy activity data written 0, data read is 0 because it is not even reading anything. We don't have any data to be read. But now if you see this query, the query changed from select star from DBO customer where ID greater than 0 to where ID greater than 3. This value is changing automatically. This value is coming from the lookup table, which we are updating after every copy activity successful execution. Now, if I come to my first step of the lab, we created some values. So if I will insert these two values into the customer table, okay. And what I will do, I will insert one value. One value for the same ID person. This time he has bought a soap, but this time the date is 8. Okay, I will insert this also. Now if I run the pipeline, Param, how many values will it copy for the sales table?
One value.
Okay. And for the customer table?
0.
Why 0? I have inserted 2 records, right? Yes, two. Correct, welcome. two records it will insert, because we have two new records that are inserted into our customer table. So if you see at this pipeline build, every time there is a new record, you don't need to change anything. This pipeline will bring the table names, it will bring the max value, it will copy the latest data, and it will update itself also. So this pipeline is now that dynamic, it can handle incremental load n number of times you run this. See, all the copy activity is successful. If you see this time, let me show you the metadata information that will be more easier for you to understand. If I check, if I do a select star from metadata, the table should be refreshed with the latest values. See, the last processed value became 5, and the last processed value here for the sales table became 8, right? Now, if you see how many records it has bought, the copy activity 1 for the DBO, this for which table? Customer table, it should have bought how many? Only 2. Rows read is only 2, correct? Rows read and rows copied are only 2. It only bought 2. Now, if you see in the sales table, we have only one new record. We have only one new record. So in the sales table, dbo.customer, where sale date is greater than so and so. Now, if you check, it should have only bought one record. See, because that is the latest record, correct? This is how your real-time pipelines you can build for n number of tables, and for n number of times you can run this pipeline. It is an optimized way of bringing only the latest data rather than bringing everything. Understood? So by this, we will end our session today, but I will take some questions if you have any. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Any questions? If no questions, you people have 2 days time, today and tomorrow. I want you people to take a chance. People who have finished the previous sessions, they can take a chance and do one thing. I want to have a pipeline in this way that before getting the max value, I want to check if the table is existing or not. So I want to use a get metadata to check the table is existing or not. If the table is existing, then I want to execute this lookup. Then I want to execute the copy. Then I want to execute the store procedure. Okay. And on success, I want to create an audit table and update the status that pipeline ran successfully. And if the table is not existing, I want another store procedure that where our table is not running. Simply what I'm trying to give you is merge. I'm merging two labs. I think the dynamic pipeline lab and the incremental load pipeline lab. Merge these two labs and make one pipeline, and try to practice it. It will be a good help, because more than this, you will not have in the real time. I mean, the simpler projects, but we will discuss more complex scenarios in future also. But it is like a real time end-to-end project, and create a trigger. Let it be in event based or let it be scheduled. Your choice. I'm giving that to you. But merge these two labs and make one dynamic pipeline. And if you have done that and you want to review it on Monday, we can review. Okay. So I will stop the recording. I'm telling all this on recording now.